What's a sign that someone is actually struggling that many people miss? I met my girlfriend on Valorant and we dated. Even though it was online, it felt so real to me. I would always plan to fly out to see her. And the first time I ever did, I came with a promise ring. I wanted to show her I recognized her as my future wife, and she loved it. But when I flew back home, her texts started to come less often. At first, I assumed she was just busy, but it got to the point where I would have to wait for a text every 3 days, then never. I was worried for months, and I kept wondering if she had pulled a Woon Ho. We watched 20th Century Girl before I left. Second worst experience of my life, by the way. This was the first, so in a panic I flew out to see her. When I knocked on her door, she opened up, which made me feel relieved for 2 seconds before I noticed that her face was deathly pale. Her eyes were dark, and she could barely stand up and collapsed onto me. I could tell she was hotter than the sun. Well, she always was. I brought her to her room and waited for her to wake up. When she finally woke up, I got her some water and an Advil, and asked if she had some new mosquito virus or something. But she shook her head. She told me that ever since she was young, she's always had an extremely weak immune system, so she's always sick with a fever and ends up becoming bedridden from the common cold. She basically lives online because she's too sick to go out. Suddenly she burst out crying, saying she felt terrible for ghosting me and that she was so sick she couldn't even text me back. I told her not to worry about it because at least she wasn't dead. Then, I got some gloves and a mask and decided to stay to help her. I promised her that I would always be there for her whenever she was sick. I got so used to treating her illness that we actually fell into a routine. I got a job here, made sure I used extra hand sanitizer, and took any precautions to make sure she would get better. Luckily, we knew she was going to be sick when her nails would be brittle, cracked and pale. But the worst came when I washed her hair and clumps of it would fall out. I even noticed she was starting to develop a bald spot. I told her, but she didn't even have the energy to freak out. She just sighed defeatedly. It pained me to see her this way, especially because it felt like there was nothing I could do. She tried various medications, but none improved her immune system, and some even caused allergies or worsened her condition. She never went outside, and our dates turned into nights where I would cook her favorite meals or simply watch her sleep, hoping for a miracle. I could see the despair in her eyes whenever she looked at me, and it crushed me every time she felt like giving up. I knew I had to change things because I didn't think she could take much more. Every time I looked at her, with her cracked lips, thin hair, brittle nails and pale skin, it reminded me she was sick. So, I went online to see if I could find anything that would fix her and get her to be healthy again. It's all I wanted. I researched her problems one by one to see if that would make a difference in the medication I needed. When I searched up what could stop hair loss, I found out collagen was known to make hair grow healthily and strengthen it. When I searched up brittle nails, I learned that biotin helps with improving nail health and thickness. Now I just needed something for her immune system. And after hours of searching I found out that bee pollen can improve the immune system. So I went out and found Bee Vitality shots, which are a blend that has bee pollen, collagen and biotin. I was shocked since I couldn't find anything else that had everything I needed, so I quickly bought it as a Hail Mary for my girlfriend.